Questions that you should ask in the interview. A good interviewer should allow you the opportunity to ask questions, generally at the end, but not always. So a little background. The top two pet peeves that interviewers have is one, the candidate has done little or no research on the company, and two, they don't come prepared with good questions. So in this segment, we're going to actually make sure you don't fall into those two pet peeves inadvertently. So let me talk about how to structure and organize your line of questioning. You should have a few questions that are about the person that you're talking to, the interviewer. You should have a few questions about the position itself, and then a few questions about the company and industry. And one thing to note, you really should have these prepared out and written out in advance so that you bring them with you to the interview. So here are some examples of questions you should ask of the interviewer. So one question I really like to start out with is like asking the question of the person, like, what made you decide to work for this company? What do you like working here? The one thing is that people do buy from who they like and trust, and like it or not, you are selling your service in the interview, and you're hoping that they buy your service. So you're trying to make a personal connection. So I think it's a really good idea to start with a question just to make a connection with that person. So again, asking that person, like, how did you end up working here? What do you like about working here? What do you see as a challenge in this position? What are some of the key objectives as you see it in this department? So just a few questions, 3, 4, about the interviewer himself. And then you're going to want to have a few questions about the position itself. So, a question, why is the position open? What are the expectations of the position in the first 30, 60, 90 days? What does the training look like? Why is the position open? Is this a new position or a replacement position? Questions like that. And then finally, you're going to want to have a few questions about the company or the industry. Now remember earlier, I said one of the pet peeves of the interviewer is that the candidate hasn't done adequate research. So here's a way to demonstrate you have done your research. So, go look at the company website, look for key initiatives, news releases, things of that nature, and do a search on trends, initiatives, or what's happening in the industry. So that allows you to ask questions like, I was looking at your website and I saw this key initiative. I was looking at your website and I saw this news release. Can you tell me more? I was looking on the internet and I saw there are trends happening in your industry. How does this affect your company? By asking questions like that, you've demonstrated that you've done your research. And so that, again, will make sure you don't inadvertently trip into one of those pet peeves that interviewers have. So now when it's your turn to ask questions, there's actually a unique opportunity you have to really make an impact in the interview. So I'm going to role play how to go about asking questions and make sure you have a strong finish. So let's say I am the candidate and I've just been asked, so Kurt, do you have any questions for me? So I would take out my prepared list of questions and I would say something like this. Well, yes, I do. I prepared some questions in advance, showed you prepared. Some you've already answered, that shows you're listening. So tell me, how did you end up working here and what do you like about working here? Again, that important question to make that personal connection. So I'd go through the list, a few questions about the person, a few questions about the position, maybe a few questions about the company and industry based upon your research. And then here's how I'd like you to think about closing off when it's your turn to ask questions. If you think about it, this is your opportunity to speak. Up to this point, the interviewer has, for lack of a better term, controlled the interview. So you have a way here to finish really strong. So one way to finish is something like this. I don't have any more questions, but I'd really like to tell you, I'm really excited about this position. Based upon everything I've learned before I came here and even today, I think I could be a great fit. So maybe you could just tell me, what the next steps are. That's just a great way to close the interview, to leave a lasting impression, to ask what the next steps are without putting the person on the spot. So in summary, when developing a list of questions that you're going to ask in the interview, think about a few questions about the person. Again, that one question, why they came to work here, what they like about working here. A few questions about the position, a few questions about the company and industry based on research you've done, and use that opportunity when it's your turn to speak by asking questions to really close the interview off strong by just letting them know how interested you are in the position.